How many times have you had an idea, felt an internal spark, a strong intuition that something was about to change in your life, and the first thing you did was tell someone? You called that friend. You messaged your brother. You posted a hint on social media. And do you know what happened next? The strength you felt began to wane. That which seemed so clear, so potent within you, began to lose its shape as opinions started arriving. Is that really it? Be careful now. Don't delude yourself. And in a few days, that certainty that burned inside your chest became just another archived idea. If this has ever happened to you, and if you are over 35, I bet it has happened more than once. Then this video will reveal to you why there is a spiritual and psychological mechanism that requires certain things to be protected in silence before they are exposed to the world. It is not isolation. It is not a secret. It is wisdom regarding the right time to speak and the right time to be silent. And ignoring this may have cost you achievements that were already yours. Pay attention, because what I am going to show you here will change the way you handle every insight, every calling, every premonition that arises in your life from today on. And at the end of this video, I will explain exactly how to distinguish the silence that protects from the silence that imprisons. Because both exist and confusing them can be equally destructive. Let's start with the data that will shock you. Researcher Peter Gollwitzer from New York University conducted a series of studies over 2 decades on the effect of what he calls premature social reality. What he discovered is disturbing in its simplicity. When a person publicly announces an intention, the brain registers the social recognition received as if it were real progress. The praise, the encouragement, the "that's great, it will work out," function as a neurological reward that deceives the motivation system.
Attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life, a guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming, with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10,000 readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who were tired of living in the fog, ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.
The brain understands that something has already been achieved, and the energy that should move the person toward action dissipates because the reward circuit has already been satisfied by the validation received. In other words, telling the plan before executing it can rob you of the energy necessary to achieve it. Think about the impact of this. How many projects, how many dreams, how many important decisions in your life died not because you were incapable, not because the world conspired against you, but because you opened your mouth too soon? How many times did the premature validation of others replace the execution that depended only on you? A study from Unicamp in the Department of Social Psychology identified that Brazilian adults over 35 have a significantly higher rate of what they call social anticipation behavior, the tendency to share plans, intentions, and decisions with their social circle before any concrete action. And the researchers found a direct correlation. The higher the frequency of anticipated sharing, the lower the completion rate of the announced projects. It is not a coincidence, it is a mechanism. And this mechanism is operating in your life right now at some level that perhaps you have not yet identified. But what science documents in the laboratory biblical tradition already revealed millennia ago with a depth that goes beyond the neurological. And it is here that I need to introduce you to a word that can redefine the way you protect what God is building inside you. In the Gospel of Luke, chapter 2, verse 19, there is a phrase that seems simple on the surface, but carries immense spiritual weight. After everything that happened, the angels, the shepherds, the prophecies, the extraordinary birth of her son, The text says that Mary kept all these things, pondering them in her heart. The word in the original Greek that Luke uses for kept is synterio, which means to preserve carefully, to keep protected from external interference. But when we look at the Hebrew concept behind this attitude, we find the word shamar. Shamar is not just keeping in the sense of storing. Shamar means to watch, to protect, to mount guard. It is the same word used in Genesis 2 when God places Adam in the garden and tells him to tend and keep. Keeping the garden was not locking the gate. It was actively protecting what was growing inside. Mary did not keep those things in her heart out of shyness. She did not remain silent because she had no one to talk to. She did shamar. She mounted guard around something that was in the process of gestation, something so great, so supernatural, so beyond common human understanding, that exposing it prematurely to the opinions of the world would be like pulling a seedling from the soil before it had taken root. And here is the question I need you to answer internally, with total honesty. What is it that you are carrying inside you right now, at this moment, that needs shamar? What insight, what calling, what perception is still too fragile to be exposed to the judgment, the opinion, the I think that of the people around you? Not because these people are bad, not because they want to harm you, but because they do not have the capacity to see what God has planted in you. They see from their own experience, their own limitation, their own fear. And when you expose something sacred to a limited lens, the sacred is not reduced, but your perception of it is. If this content is resonating with something you are living, subscribe to this channel now and activate the bell, because each video here is one more layer of understanding, and what I am going to reveal in the second half of this episode is what will give you the practical tool to apply this starting today. Do not miss this part. Now let's go down one more level, because understanding that speaking too soon dissipates strength is the first step, but I need you to understand why there is such a strong compulsion within you to share. Where does this almost irresistible need to tell someone what you are feeling, thinking, or planning come from? UFRJ and the Institute of Psychology maintains a line of research on what they call emotional regulation by witness. The conclusion is revealing. A significant portion of Brazilian adults use verbal sharing not as genuine communication, but as a mechanism for emotional regulation. In other words, you don't tell because you need the other person's opinion. You tell because you need a witness to validate what you are feeling. Without the witness, the feeling seems less real, the emotion seems less legitimate, the decision seems less solid. And this pattern has a deep root, the unconscious belief that what happens only inside you is not true enough until someone from the outside confirms it. And it is exactly here that the spiritual trap lies. Because when you need external confirmation to believe in what God is doing internally, you have transferred the authority of your journey into the hands of people who did not receive the map. They did not see the dream. They did not feel the burning in the chest. They did not wake up at 3 in the morning with that idea that won't leave their head. All of this was given to you, not to them. And asking them to validate something they were not equipped to understand is like handing the key to your house to someone who has never seen the blueprints. There is a story in the Bible that illustrates this with almost surgical precision. Nehemiah was a cupbearer to King Artaxerxes in Persia. One day, he received news that the walls of Jerusalem were destroyed and the people lived in disgrace. Something moved within him, a pain that was greater than the sadness of bad news. It was a calling. Nehemiah felt in the center of his being that he needed to go back and rebuild those walls. But what he did next is what I want you to remember. Nehemiah did not go out announcing it. He did not call a meeting. He did not ask for advice from everyone around him. The text of Nehemiah chapter 2, verses 11 to 16, describes something extraordinary. He arrived in Jerusalem, stayed silent for 3 days, and then at night, alone with only a few men, he went out to inspect the walls. At night, in secret, without publicity. He evaluated the situation with his own eyes before opening his mouth to anyone. Verse 16 explicitly says, "The officials did not know where I had gone or what I was doing. Up to that moment, I had said nothing to the Jews, nor to the priests, nor to the nobles, nor to the officials, nor to any of the others who would do the work. Nehemiah did not do this out of fear. He did it out of spiritual strategy. He knew that the vision God had deposited in him was vulnerable in the gestation phase. He knew that if he opened up before the time, the opponents, and they existed, the Sanballats and Tobiahs of that time, would have ammunition to discourage, ridicule, and sabotage before the first stone was even placed. Nehemiah protected the vision until it was ready to be executed, not just commented on. And here is a question that might hurt. How many times has the Sanballat of your life been your own mouth? How many times were you the saboteur of what God was building in you simply because you could not wait? In Greek, there is the word mysterion. We translate it as mystery, but the original meaning is much more precise. Mysterion is not something impossible to understand. It is something that is hidden until the designated moment for revelation. Paul uses this word repeatedly in his letters. In Colossians 1 verse 26, he speaks of the mystery that has been kept hidden for ages and generations, but is now disclosed. The key word there is not hidden, it is now. There was a time when that needed to be kept, and there was an exact, precise moment when it was revealed. Not before, not after. The mysterion of God operates with timing, and when you ignore the timing and reveal it before the hour, you do not accelerate the process, you compromise it. If this video is helping you see something you didn't see before, leave your like now, because this simple gesture communicates to the algorithm that this content has value and makes it reach other people who are at this same turning point. A like from you could be the path by which this message finds someone who needs to hear exactly this today. Now comes the practical part. Because I didn't bring you this far just to leave you with theory, I need to give you the tools to apply this in your real life, starting today. The first step is to identify the difference between sharing and seeking validation. It seems like the same thing, but it isn't. Sharing is when you already have internal conviction and choose to include someone in the process out of love, partnership, or strategy. Seeking validation is when you are not yet sure and need someone to say yes, so that you authorize yourself to believe. Feel the difference. In the first case, you speak from a place of strength. In the second, from a place of dependence. And most people, especially after 35, when the accumulation of disappointments has already eroded part of their self-confidence, operate in the second mode without realizing it. Researchers at Harvard in the Department of Psychology published a study on what they call the point of internal consolidation. They discovered that every significant decision goes through an incubation phase where conviction is forming but has not yet crystallized. In this phase, the process is extremely sensitive to external influence. A word of encouragement can accelerate it, but an expression of doubt, even subtle, a raised eyebrow, an interesting said without enthusiasm, can dismantle it completely. And the person does not realize they were influenced. They think they changed their mind on their own. But they didn't. They were moved by the micro-response of someone they consulted before the point of consolidation. Now connect this with what Nehemiah did. He waited. He inspected alone. He let the vision consolidate within him. And only when he knew exactly what needed to be done, when the conviction was already unshakable, did he open his mouth. And then came the result. The wall of Jerusalem, which had been in ruins for decades, was rebuilt in 52 days. 52 days. Because the execution that comes after internal consolidation carries a potency that premature execution will never have. The second step is to learn what the Bible calls damam. In Hebrew, adamam means to be silent, to be still, to wait calmly. But it is not a passive silence. It is not being quiet because you have nothing to say. Damam is the deliberate silence of someone who is processing, absorbing, letting something settle. Psalm 62 begins with a powerful declaration. Truly my soul finds damam in God alone. It finds stillness, it finds rest, not in people's opinions, not in what do you think, not in the advice of the WhatsApp group, in God. In the internal space where no one else has access. And here I need to tell you the story of Hannah, because she is perhaps the most visceral example of damam in the entire Bible. Hannah was a woman who carried a pain that no one around her could understand. She wanted to be a mother and could not. And her husband's other wife, Peninnah, provoked her constantly because of it. Year after year, the same wound was poked. Her husband, Elkanah, tried to console her, but said things like, "Am I not better to you than 10 sons?" A phrase that shows that even those who loved Hannah did not understand the depth of what she felt. No one understood. No one. And what did Hannah do? 1 Samuel chapter 1 verses 12 to 13. She went to the temple and prayed. But the text makes a point of saying how she prayed. Her lips moved, but her voice was not heard. She was speaking with God at the most internal level possible. So internally that Eli the priest looked at her and thought she was drunk. The man who should have been the spiritual authority, most prepared to recognize a deep prayer, mistook it for drunkenness. And if Hannah had depended on Eli's opinion, she would have gone away ashamed. But she did not depend on it. Her conversation was with God, not with Eli. The process was internal, not public. And do you know what happened? Samuel was born, the boy who became a prophet, a judge, and transformed the entire history of Israel. The answer came, but it came after the damam, after the deliberate silence, after the process that no one saw, that no one understood, and that no one validated. Now answer me. Is there something in your life right now that is in this phase? Something you are gestating, something that moves inside you, that you feel but cannot explain? Something that, every time you try to put it into words for someone, seems to lose its shape? If so, then this is your evidence that you are carrying something that needs damam, that needs shamar, that needs time, silence, and internal protection before being exposed to the world. The third step, and this is the most important, is learning to distinguish the silence that protects from the silence that imprisons. Because there is a huge difference between protecting a process and isolating yourself out of fear. Protective silence is temporary, intentional, and directed. You know what you're keeping, you know why you're keeping it, and you know that at the right moment, you will share it with the right people. Imprisoning silence is chronic, based on fear, and generalized. You don't talk to anyone about anything because you are afraid of judgment, rejection, or vulnerability. This silence does not protect, it suffocates. UFMG, in the Department of Clinical Psychology, published a study on communication patterns in adults in life transitions. And the central conclusion is that healthy people in processes of change practice what researchers call staggered revelation. They don't tell everything to everyone immediately, but they also don't keep everything to themselves indefinitely. They choose with discernment what to share, with whom, and when. Nehemiah did not stay silent forever. After inspecting the walls, he gathered the leaders and said, "You see the situation, let us rebuild." But he only said it when he already had clarity. Mary did not keep everything in her heart forever. She told it, but she told it when the time was ripe. Hannah did not remain mute forever. She spoke with Eli, explained who she was and what she felt, but only after having completed her conversation with God. The pattern is clear: internal protection first, strategic revelation later. First damam, then declaration. First shamar, then action. TEFGV, in the Center for Studies in Public Administration, conducted a survey with more than 1,000 Brazilian professionals over 40 years old regarding career transition processes, and discovered that those who communicated their decision to change only after they already had a structured plan had a success rate 61% higher than those who announced the intention before having clarity about the next steps. 61%. The difference between speaking before and speaking after is not just spiritual. It is statistical. I need you to do something now. Go to the comments and write the words "I keep," in capital letters. I keep. This is not just a phrase. It is a declaration of spiritual maturity. It is you saying, "I understand that not everything that happens inside me needs to be announced to be real. I trust the process. I protect what is being gestated. I practice shamar." Write "I keep" and feel what that decision does inside your chest. I want to close by taking you back to that scene in the temple. Hannah is on her knees. Her lips move, but no sound comes out. Eli looks from afar and does not understand. Peninnah somewhere continues with the provocations. Elkanah loves her, but does not reach the depth of what is happening. And Hannah is completely alone in the middle of a crowd, alone with God. alone with what she carries, alone with a promise that no one else can see. But she is not forsaken. She is in the most powerful place a human being can be, in the center of sacred silence, where the seed that will change everything is germinating far from the eyes of those who would not know how to care for it. You have something like that inside you now. I don't know what it is, only you know. Maybe it's a career change that doesn't make sense to anyone around you yet. Maybe it's a calling that seems absurd given current circumstances. Maybe it's an emotional healing that is happening in silence, without an audience, without applause, without social media posts. Whatever it is, protect it. Do shamar, practice damam. Not because the people around you are enemies, but because what is being born in you is too sacred to be submitted to a tribunal of opinions before it has roots. The mysterion of God in your life has a timing, and that timing is not determined by your anxiety, nor by the curiosity of others. It is determined by the depth of the root. When the root is deep enough, the tree will appear, and no one will need you to announce it. They will see. If this video spoke directly to something you are living, share it now with that person you know is in this same moment of internal gestation. You don't need to explain why you are sending it. Just send the link. The message will do its work. And activate the bell, because in the next episode I will reveal to you what happens when the phase of silence ends and the moment to act arrives. There is an internal signal, documented both in spiritual tradition and in neuroscience, that indicates with precision that the gestation period is over and that the time has come to move. Most people miss this signal, acting too early or waiting too long. You won't want to miss this video. Protect what is yours. Guard it with wisdom. And when the moment arrives, you will know, not because someone told you, because something inside you, something that does not need permission, will move you. Der Shamar. Practice damam. Silence is not absence, it is preparation.
Attention, you need to prepare now. I put together an exclusive resource for those who feel set apart for something greater, but live surrounded by noise, distractions, and mental overload. This is a 30-day journey that will transform your life, a guided path to armor your mind and prepare for what's coming, with daily practices of focus, boundaries, and discipline. Stop negotiating with the noise. Learn to spot distractions before they control you and strengthen your mind. Also available in an immersive audio version. Over 10,000 readers have already transformed their lives through the 30-day journey. Thousands of people have already started this transformation. People like you who were tired of living in the fog, ordinary people who decided to stop accepting mental chaos. Take advantage of this limited time offer only this month. Access your link just below in the pinned comment.